Good morning, people. Duncan at Freezing Eagle. I just thought it was time for a quick update. This is Thursday morning, the 24th, I believe. And just to catch you up, I've been making a lot of progress up here. We're trying to get ready to get the siding on. I've got that on order, picked out a stain color, and some of the things that have been done over the last couple of weeks include a lot of the getting trim and wood ready. I'm going to step around the back just for a second so you can see where we're at with this. Alright, so I'm in the back. This is the south side. I actually have most of my windows. I don't have my mid-level windows yet. The big triangle came, and these are monsters. They're going to be a little bit of a trick to get up there, but I'm thinking of some schemes with rope and pulleys to get that heavy beast up there, and then eventually we're going to get the staging moved in toward the house so we can handle that. But meanwhile, I've been out working on the outside. You can see a strip of green along the back edge, and the soffit wood's going to go up, kind of bump into that. We had to do a little extra work. I'll just zoom in here so you can see it. Okay, there's a edge along here, and then there's going to be wood that's similar to what's in the other soffits. And the wood's going to come in. I'll zoom in a little more here. Okay, so the wood's going to come in horizontally. The other soffits are all vertical because of the way the blocking ran. The actual rafter framing is going to allow these pieces to come across. And then where you see green there, it's going to bump into that. We had to add those nailers, bump this out a little bit so it'd be a nice clean end point where it will die into the other wood and look pretty. And then if we walk over here, we're looking at the smaller dormer. And what I decided to do, this is a rustic cabin. All the trim is actually full thickness Doug fir framing lumber that I've picked out the nicer pieces of and sanded them. So it's going to be very rugged and water resistant because Doug fir is that type of a wood. Very heavy on tannins and such. So yeah, if we look up at the top there, you can see there's the only wood that's thin in here is that pine up under the soffits, which I got a good price on, so I bought a lot of it, and actually it's really pretty up under there. It's not going to be subject anywhere in tears, so it's a good place for it. And you'll see for these corner boards, I ended up having to mill out the back of some of this wood. If I find another piece of it, I can show you how that was made. Up underneath, it's framing lumber. The corner boards are 2x4s pancaked together with some milled out of the back in order to wrap around the corner. And the trick with doing these corner boards is the siding, the log siding will butt into them, kind of go sideways into them. So I had to make sure I had enough wood coming out beyond the house so that the siding would bump into it and there would still be a reveal, still be some wood on the outside. So these aren't completely done. I got some holes up there to fill, but the siding will bump into those, and there's enough of a reveal on either side so that it'll stick out beyond the siding and look good. And now we're going to come around the front. I actually got some of the windows in. I put in the two lower windows on this exposure. And last time I think I discussed the way I'd flashed this just to get that on the house so I can put siding on up against that flashing and complete this whole end without having the porch roof in the way. So we're going to go and side this whole thing, get all the windows in this end, and then backtrack and build the porch on. But I mocked it up in order to figure out where the step flashing needed to go for the roof. So this window, I came out with a scheme for the trim that actually worked out nicely. It's going to be pretty, but you can see right around the window it's ripped down 2x6, ripped down to 2¼ inches. So it tucks in nicely to the window, and then to have a place for the siding to bump into it and have enough width to stick out beyond it, I framed it with wood the other way, so it's sticking out the 2¼ out from the house. And you can see this is a sample piece of the siding. Finally decided on a color, Redwood Rose I think it's called. I wanted some with a little bit of a reddish tint, very slight, but it's a nice brown, and the brown-green theme looks really pretty to me. So this is basically what we're going to end up with, is everything, all the trim will be green, all the log siding is going to come in and be that color. That's basically an oil stain that you rub on there, and you want to make the wood saturated with it as much as possible. It'll hold up well, won't have a film like paint that might peel later. So it's something you can do every few years and kind of renew it, and it soaks right into the wood. It doesn't leave any kind of nasty film to peel off. So you can see a bunch of things here. Making up the sills. Sills are interesting. These are, I looked it up, you can pitch a sill anywhere from about 7 degrees to 15. And I decided to go with the 15, and I made up these sills. Actually, my son-in-law came up yesterday, and we ripped a lot of sill stock out of a bunch of 16-foot 2x4s. So that's basically a 2x4 with a 15-degree angle on the front and back, so it'll pitch down, and then the side trim lands on it. There's a little bit of a flat milled onto the top of that sill so that those side pieces can land on it. And this is one over here that I just am working on today, trying to tie this up. I started to trim it yesterday, and I actually made a little mistake. I tried to prefab all of it, mismeasured something, so I had to redo it, but that's okay. This happens. So anyway, this is a piece that's just been put on a few minutes ago, and you see this wooden sill. Hasn't been painted yet, but I did install and caulk it, and then paint. I'm letting it dry a little bit. Figured I'd do this video and some other things and get back to that, let the caulk dry in a little bit before we paint it. So that's kind of where we're at with progress. I'll take a step inside here. Ended up with a whole nother pile of this pine for half price, which is really nice. My brother knows a supplier that, the funny thing is they can't sell the 6-footers. They'll sell all the other lengths, and they'll end up with a pallet of 6-footers, and about once a year they'll put it out just to get rid of it at their cost. So it's working fine for me up here. I don't care if there's a few breaks. It looks fine to me. So all of this wood you see. Okay, so here's some of the log siding. This is, I've got more coming, and eventually we're going to pre-stain all of this, set it out, and rub it down with the oil and let it soak it up. Then down below here is sill stock. These are 16-foot pieces, and they've got all the basic milling done. My son's going to come up over the next week and help me sand this out. So those are all pieces. Those are all pieces of trim. Okay, here's some beautiful stuff here. Here's a big triangular window. These puppies are very heavy. I think they got to be over 200 pounds a piece. Took 2 of us just to drag them into the house. So that one of those triangles is going up in the peak up there, and then the other one, if I can get in there without going upstairs, no I can't, but the other one's going up in the big dormer, so its peak is the same height as the main roof. So it's going to get one of those triangles, and then I've got some smaller ones that are going, actually I brought them upstairs already, they're going in the dormer, one over the kitchen. Then these windows here are the ones going, the smaller pairs going in this area, and then these 2 larger ones are going in the south wall, which is down here, and these are the easier ones. I wanted to put them where I could easily access them. So these ones I can put in with minimal extra effort. You know, I don't have to get up on staging to put them in. So the 2 out front are in. Take a quick walk around the back here, and then you'll be caught up on where I'm at right now. I'm going to take a little break for a few days and jump back in. My son will be coming up doing the sanding and prepping. So these are corner boards on the big dormer, and they have been installed and caulked, some paint. So we're going to pretty those up, give them probably 2 to 3 coats of paint, and then the siding will be ready to go in these areas. So major progress happening. August will be a big month. I'm going to have a couple extra guys here to help me out. So we're going to try to wind this exterior up by September. And we'll have all the siding. We have almost all the windows. So I'd say we probably will get almost all the exterior done by the end of September. That's the goal, or the end of August actually. Then I've got to jump on the inside and jam on that, finish the framing, and get some more wiring done. I did a minimal amount to have power at each floor and work stuff I can use to do my cutting out here. So anyway, we are rolling ahead. Things are looking prettier every day. So I'm excited. I actually feel like we might actually get this thing done, and probably won't move into it until spring, but that's the goal. Have it all ready to do the interior and finish by winter. I'll have heat, power, all those good things, and we'll carry on with it. So anyway, it's a beautiful day, and it's supposed to get pretty warm the next couple of days, up in the 80s. So it'll be a bit toasty, but I will be getting in the water as I usually do when it gets hot. So anyway, enjoy the summer, and we'll talk to you again soon.